What's up, y'all? This is 10X Generation. This is my road to $1 billion. I'm building a decentralized cloud gaming platform so you can earn passive income sharing your PC and your games with others through the internet. I'm working on the web app component of it, and that's coming along kind of smoothly, but I am working a little too slow. I'm working too slow because I'm getting started on my work a little bit too late. A little ashamed to say, but I don't start working on it until about 3, and I end working around 9 or 10, but that time is interrupted with dinner and family time and things like that. And sometimes it's even later than 3, honestly, because that bleeds into my gym time. So I need to be spending a full 8 to 10 hours a day working on this. There's really no excuse for me not to be able to do that. So that's my new intention. I want to be working as soon as I wake up and as soon as I go to sleep. And I think the reason why I don't do that is because I put in this weird rule where I don't start working until 9, and I wake up at sometimes 6, at 7, and I spend so much time dilly-dallying that I end up just not abiding by my time. So I need to get rid of that, and as soon as I wake up, we're getting straight to work, just to set the tone for the entire day. And I've said this before in my previous videos. I don't know, go back 20 videos or so, but yeah, I need to be working on this all day because that's what it takes. So that's cool. But in terms of the progress that I actually got done, I started using this thing called, well, one of the issues that I ran into is that I was trying to make a card element that displays a bunch of information about games and computers and stuff. But because I'm not a UI UX designer, it was looking very janky and very amateurish, which I don't want the site to look like. I want it to look clean. It doesn't have to look amazing, but I just want it to look clean and not like a scam. And I spent a lot of time trying to design it. Well, one of my old friends told me about this thing a while ago, a long time ago, about this app called Figma. And Figma's cool because you can prototype UI components and pages and all this stuff, and experiment with UX. So UI is user interface and UX is user experience. So those two usually go together, and it's how a user uses technology. So in this context, it's buttons, it's placements, it's fonts, it's colors, it's things like that, just so that it's readable, understandable, and navigable. But yeah, I used that to prototype the card element that I was talking about. I already knew how to use Figma because I've used it before, so it wasn't too difficult, and I experimented a little bit. I ported in some images from this site called Dribble, which is a very good resource where UI UX experts will share some of their designs looking for work, and others can use it for inspiration. I just got a bunch of images around and what I had before, and I just designed something neat. And so I have something that looks really good. I have an image, I have, the information, or what type of information is here on the left, and then the actual information on the right, and then at the bottom, games, and then a whole bunch of badges with randomized colors that displays what games are available on the computer. And I'm getting pretty good with the CSS and Tailwind, so it has cool effects. When you hover over it, it does something. When you click, it does stuff. So it's a very nice looking thing, and it's professional and it's readable. So that was one thing I did, and I altered those cards associated with that. And the second thing that I did was what was it called? So I added in the add new computer functionality that I was talking about. So you go to my computers, and then you click on new computer, and then it pulls up another card. I didn't redesign that card because I think it looks okay, but maybe I'll redesign that eventually. But it doesn't look that bad in my opinion. And it just is a bunch of text fields where you can type in the information for the new computer, and then when you press check mark, it goes ahead and contacts my server. Everything is running on my computer right now, but it contacts my API through the server and creates a new computer object, stores it into the database. So it creates the computer object, puts in the database, and then updates the list of computers to games, many to many relationship table. Excuse me. So all that is good. And yeah, all that is old stuff that I've done. I just had to reformat this into an API that's accessible. And that's working. It's just the one issue that I'm running into is that I'm gonna do tomorrow is that when you type in the games, right now you just have it so that it just types in the games. But I need it to basically, when you type in a game, it pulls from a list of already compiled games or a compiled list. And you click on one of those games because it already has the associated Steam ID with it. And then it's like hard to explain. I don't want you to put in any value because if you put in any value, it won't be searchable. So I need you to put in specific values and certain game names that are inside the database. And that can only be done if it's linking against a list. And yeah, which isn't super difficult to do. It's just a lot of back and forth between the client and the server. And I don't want to download a huge list of, like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. The way I'm thinking is that you just start typing, and then once you hit a certain number of characters, it sends a request to the server, says, hey, give me all these games that match this kind of. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to have it so that when you start typing in a game, it doesn't do anything, and only when you like press enter or you're done, what it will do is look at that string and then compare it to all the game list that's located in the server. And if it is comparable, like if the distance isn't that, it's called the Levenshtein distance. It's like the distance, the similarity between two strings and their distance. If it's low enough, then it will basically just replace what you put in with the associated game object with the ID and all the other information that I have about these games, and then it will work. And I also want to do this for GPUs, but because there's not that many GPUs, I'm thinking of just like downloading a list onto the client and then updating that. Yeah, so that's something else that I did. Another thing that I did was, or I had to do, is when you're updating these computers, I completely forgot about this, but when you update these computers, what it does is basically takes the request, it takes your current IP address, and it needs to do a process called reverse geolocating, or reverse geocoding. And what that does is takes a coordinate, a geographic coordinate, and converts it into an address string. And that's useful because I need to know where your computer is located so that I can find computers that are in your area, and so that I can locate the computer that you're signing up. And I want this to be a very smooth process, so all you gotta do is click plus, and it from your IP address, it coordinates that. And of course, it's not your exact address, it's just a roundabout area. It's dependent on your ISP, internet service provider. But that's not something you can like calculate, right? That's something that you need to gather from a database. So I had to open up Google Cloud. I'm very familiar with Google Cloud, so that wasn't too difficult, but basically make an API key, enable my billing and all this stuff so that I can use the reverse geocoding services. And that's all linked up in the server. So now when you create your computer, it does a whole bunch of stuff in the back end. It reverse geolocates, it needs to find the games and do all this other stuff so that your computer is officially loaded in, and then you can host it. Not yet, but eventually you're going to be able to host it and other people can search for it, and it's going to be really cool. But yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to work on that that game adding part. Maybe I'll do a redesign of that card, that add computer card, because it doesn't look super good. And I'll move on to the computer hosting. Is that what I said I was gonna do next? I don't remember. I'm just kind of just going. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just kind of doing it. I'm just kind of making it. Just going along with what logically needs to come next. It's been working so far, so I don't really see why it would change. But just make it so that you can host your game, and then other people can find that computer, and then they can connect to it. And once I do that, I'm going to fully finish up with the login stuff. That's another thing that I need to do, because right now, when you log in, it's kind of just like a flag, so that, oh, are you logged in? Cool, go forward. If you aren't, you're not. But it doesn't actually pull any information from any server or database that gets you the corresponding data, right? Your user information. So I'll add that. That's not super hard. I just need to get the Google ID. I'm not doing that. Take the Google ID and look for the corresponding line in my database, and then fetch all the data associated with that, and then save that somewhere on the client. Save that somewhere on the client so that users can use it, or so that the website can use it and it can reference against that. Sounds good. All right, that's really it. Today was a bit more of a technical day, I guess. A bit more of a technical day, but not super in depth. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I make these videos every single day, my road to $1 billion. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.